Hello, sports fans. Welcome to another exciting edition of League 1 action. We are in Season 14, Week 15. We have a special rivalry game on tap for you. It is the Army-Navy game, live from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Lincoln Financial Field. Neutral site contest between two service academies. Coach Ninja's Navy coming into this game with a 6-5 record, and just outside the bubble, on the bubble rather, for a bowl bid, trying to knock off 8-3 Army and secure that bowl bid. 8-3 Army coming into the game with a good record, and we're going to take a look at the roster here as Coach Ninja is going to walk you through the lineup.
Thank you, Coach. Kelvin Hopkins Jr., the quarterback for the Army Black Knights. He is a running quarterback. As you can see, he's got 90 yards a game, 11 passing touchdowns, 4 interceptions. But on the ground, he's got 76 yards a game, 13 rushing touchdowns. That is a considerable amount. He's got 845 yards for the season. He is a running quarterback. And traditionally, Army, that is a triple option, not a scramble. Cooper Jr., the 82, played in the first game and got injured and is only just now back, but he got 103 yards and 2 touchdowns in that game. Hobbs, Artiste Hobbs the fourth, 164 yards a game, 9 touchdowns, is out for the rest of the season. So Wisham Jr. has been playing for the past couple of weeks, 2 weeks. He's got 78 yards a game, 7 touchdowns. So he's been doing well. But it's been halfback by committee. It was Cooper Hobbs and then Hobbs Wisham for a long time. Now it's Cooper Wisham. Rounding out the triple option out of the various wing bones and so forth is Holt, who doesn't have much at all. So we're going to hope to force them to hand it to Kalen Holt and stop him in the middle rather than go out to the wings with either of the halfbacks. Wide receiver, Thibodeau is their best, but they don't go to him much. Or Coates for 53. Harrison, actually Coates 53 last season, but only 7 yards a game this season. Looks like he missed most of the season with only 9 receptions. It is Harrison who's been the beneficiary, and he's going to be, we expect, in the slot, really productive. He's who they pass to. The tight end, they don't particularly pass to either. Worth taking a look at real quick for Hobbs, the guy who's been the yeoman. Do they pass to him? No. Did they pass to Cooper in that one game? No. Do they pass to Mr. Wisham? Not really. They keep it on the ground. The line is left to right, 70, 79, 80, 82, 79. A solid line. Weakness at left tackle, but overall a decent line. On defense, they've got a 76 and a 75 impact player at end. They've got a 73 D tackle and a 68 D tackle backed up by an end. That's not a strong defensive line. It's backed up by 75, 79, and 75. It's still that's a bit better with the 79 middle linebacker, but it's not a great linebacking core either. The best of their defense is this corner, Riley, the impact player, 92. And the free safety 79 and strong safety 85. So we're just going to try and stay away from them. We're going to fight against that line and those linebackers and keep it short and keep moving the ball and stay away from those danger guys in the secondary and see what we can do. They've got 2 decent legs. That'll be important for the field position game, but we're going to try and bottle them up and not give them that option. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Coach Ninja. We are now imminent to kickoff. You see the ratings there, 86 versus 79. Navy technically the home team. They'll have the dark jerseys. Good look here at the numbers. And coming into the game, Army is 28th in the nation in points per game and 3rd in rushing, almost 300 yards rushing per game. Navy 36th in passing. Well, that rounds out the interesting offensive stats. Defensively, Army 19th in points against, 7th in total yards allowed, 15th against the pass, and 11th against the run. So their defense being the product that got them where they are today. On the flip side, Navy 20th against the rush. That'll be put to the test today. We'll see if the Navy rush defense can outman the Army run offense, and offensively whether or not Navy has enough in the tank. A couple of important recruits, big-time Tier 1 recruits coming in for Navy this game. You see the linebacker Ronnie Hampton and tight end Charles Bray. Top players for Navy. AB, having had a very good season in his senior season, and Perry and Sullivan rounding it out. Perry, of course, with 1,000 yards of total offense, and Sullivan, of course, on defense, getting most of the tackles. Riley, as was pointed out, number 23, the cornerback, a stud, 92. Wilson, the kicker, and McClinton, the strong safety, rounding out Army's top 3. As Coach Ninja told you, a couple of interesting injury reports. Cooper, the normal starter, just now coming back. Hobbs, his understudy, now out himself. Bright sunny day in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Packed house to witness this rivalry contest.
Innovation that excites. Players on both of these teams have dreamed their entire lives of making it to the pros. Not there yet, but
from the very beginning, it's always started the same way for every one of them, across generations, across eras, across history. Over more than a century, they've all waited to get the same word, to get word that they've been chosen to sacrifice, to dedicate, to serve. Dear Mr. Bonner, dear Mr. Martin, dear Mr. Thomas, you've been selected for admission and authorized to report to the United States Naval Academy, to the United States Military Academy, on the 9th of July, 1976, on the 12th of August, 2009, on the 14th of July, 1898, Annapolis, Maryland, West Point, New York. Only they know what it feels like to be a different kind of kid. The kind of kid willing to risk life for country. Their families and loved ones know they're giving up a lot of themselves to support and protect everyone else. You can expect to be challenged academically, physically, morally. Your summers basically don't exist. You have your academics, you have your military duty, and you have football. Yes, it's just a game, but a game that epitomizes everything they're here for. It's the only game where everyone who's playing in it is willing to die for everyone watching it. Since 1890, the Army-Navy game has embodied the timeless commitment of a group of young men and women to the nation and to the ideals that both academies serve. War heroes, presidents, and Heisman winners have all graced this stage. Enemies for one day, who know their calling will unite them when they leave the field, just as their stories do, wherever they may have began. Fayetteville, North Carolina. Lee's Summit, Missouri. Cedar Hill, Texas. Never forget how it all starts for them. Never forget what it takes to decide as a kid that your life is going to be about more than just yourself. From the very beginning, it's always started the same way. Across generations, across eras. They've gotten word that they've been chosen to sacrifice, to dedicate, to serve. And they've headed off to West Point and to Annapolis. It takes a certain kind of kid to commit to these institutions. Now, today, in a football game, celebrate the courage of every man and woman to ever make that commitment. For the 114th time, this is Army-Navy. Opening drive action here. Army with the ball first. Wisham ripped off a 53-yard gain to get the Black Knights down into Navy's red zone. The big play of the drive by far. Has a couple of 5-yard gains, 6-yard gains on either side of that play. Now here on 2nd and 4. 103, 104 into the game. Army is swallowed up this time for a 2-yard loss. The quarterback, Kelvin Hopkins Jr., tackled by Jason Swain for a 2-yard loss, going to make it 3rd and long. Defense for the midshipmen. Back to pass goes Hopkins. Finds the player out of the backfield, but he's tackled for a 4-yard loss. Cooper Jr. catching the ball in the flat, but immediately tackled by the Navy defense. Looked like a very poorly executed screen pass. And that's going to be 4th down, and it looks like Army's going to bring the kicking unit out onto the field. You have an 87 kicker, one of their star players. He should be expected to make this.
Trying to take the lead by a field goal. It's up, and he's got it. And it looks like they're ready for the kickoff. And he got
now Navy will get a chance to respond on their opening drive. Into the end zone it goes. It's going to be a touchback, and the midshipmen will start on their own 25-yard line.
Great football player, but Herbie, you and I had a chance to talk to him this week. He's a special kid.
He really is. I think he has his head focused and just seems to be a guy that really wants to continue to drive to become even better. Everybody's telling him how great he is, but sitting down with you and I, he was talking about the work ethic that he has and how he continues to try to push himself to become a complete player. I really love his attitude.
So let's see what the offense can do as they come out onto the field.
Here we go for the opening play. Navy in a 5-wide set.
5-wide set, and the defense
Army responds with a dime. Over the middle they go to Jackson. Taylor Jackson, the senior wide receiver, playing in his final regular season game. Picks up 3 on the opening play.
First of all, you want to win the football game.
And with that, Zach Avey gets a completion.
Second down at 7 coming up here.
7 yards to go for the midshipmen. 3-man front for Army. It's an eye tight for Navy. Avey on the handoff up the gut to Perry. He picks up 4. Going to be 3rd down and 3 yards to go. Out they come. 2 down linemen this time for Army. 5 wide set once again for the middies. Aby takes the snap, drops back, goes to the left side, and Wright makes the catch for the first down. Fresh set of downs for Navy, their first down of the ball game. They're out to their own 41.
From their own 41-yard line. First down.
It's the eye tight here on 1st and 10. Navy taking their time, content to keep everyone rested. And Perry up the gut again, this time picks up 5 yards. And we are approaching the midway point of this 8-minute first quarter. We thank you for joining us. We are in Season 14 of League 1 action. This is Week 15. It's the Army-Navy game. Navy at 6-5, fighting for their bowl bid. Army at 8-3, trying to protect their standing. Aby looking, finds Perry out of the backfield. It's good for a first down as he's tackled across the marker. They'll call it 7 on his first reception of the game. And now, again, Navy with a fresh set of downs, this time in Army territory.
First down, 10 to go. Ball on the 47.
Staying with the eye tight, staying with the ball control offense. We, of course, are playing on maximized sliders that make the CPU as difficult as possible to play against.
Down he goes at about the 45.
3-yard gain by Perry. Going to set up 2nd and 7. These two teams, the last 2 seasons, have decided the ball game by a touchdown or less. It's been a close run affair, so Navy content to be studious, to take short gains, to work the clock, to keep their offense rested. There's a bowl bid's on the line. Aby now back to pass, finds the slant. Right. Kelvin Wright making his second catch of the day. It's a 14-yard gain down to the 31-yard line. And Navy approaching scoring range.
Here's the 8th play of the series.
Looks like a 3-4 defense for Army. Navy coming out in the eye tight. They've run a couple times out of it. Looks like they might be going play action here. It is indeed. Aby rolls to the right and hits his tight end Lee. Amir Lee makes a 22-yard catch. That's his first catch of the day. Keep an eye out for Amir Lee. We expect that with a major tight end recruit visiting this week, that Navy may try to get Lee across that 100-yard threshold. Get the bonus points on the recruit visit.
This is the 9th play of this drive.
Just inside 2 minutes here in the first frame, and Navy coming out in the shotgun wide trips. 1st and goal. It's the read option. Aby gives it to Perry up the gut, and he picks up 3. Going to be 2nd and goal from the 6.
That brings up 2nd and goal.
9 plays in the drive so far. 4 of them runs by Perry.
Second down.
Shotgun set, single back, 11 personnel with a tight end on the field. Perry in the backfield. Back to pass goes Aby and hits Lee on the out route. A good read. And just like that, Navy has their first points of the ball game. Kick is good and deep. It's out of the back of the end zone. If it were a field goal in Canada, they'd give him a point. Army will take over at the 25. Down by 4. Both teams getting points on their opening drives. The Black Knights now with a chance to respond. The Navy defense trying to stiffen. It's a wing bone set for Army, man in motion, and it's a counter play. All the motion went to the right, the run went to the left, and it broke wide open. Cooper Jr. is going to take it to the house. It's a one-play drive, and just like that, Army retakes the lead. A well-designed play. All the motion and all of the blocking and everything indicated to the right or the middle. But they were able to break it outside on the left.
So the kicker will line up here and try to give his team a 3-point lead with this extra.
Kick is up and good, and it's a field goal game approaching the end of the first frame.
They line up to kick this one away. Excellent kick. He's to the 20.
Perry takes it, has a decent enough hole, but the defender breaks free from his block just in time to make the tackle. Looked like Perry might have been able to break it out for even more, but as it stands, a very solid return out to the 30.
I think this defense right now needs somebody to try to lift up their spirits. They seem to really be just out there kind of.
Navy staying with the twin tight ends. It's the eye tight. Army responds with their 3-4.
On the psyche of this defense.
Up the middle to Perry. He navigates his way forward for 6 yards. Squiggles through the gap like a worm. And just like that, Navy's got second and approachable.
So it's second down now, and they need about 4 yards to pick up the first.
They're staying with the twin tight end set. This should be the final play of the first frame. They find Lee, and he picks up 7. He's out to a fast start. He's got 3 for 35 and a touch. That's going to do it for the first quarter. Army had 2 possessions. Navy with 1, and they're on their second. We find ourselves in a 10-7 ball game.
The Black Knights lead 10-7.
Big runs.
Lee with 65 yards to go for the bonus points for that star tight end recruit.
And we welcome you back to the action here. Just about set.
Out of the huddle they come, and Navy in 11 personnel, shotgun single back set. It's the Y trips. Army responds with 4 down linemen. AB on the keeper on the read option. Gets the first down. It's an 11-yard gain. He gets just across the marker before he's brought down. That's his first carry of the day. and it goes for a solid gain. Navy now once again in Army territory.
From the 47-yard line, it's first down.
Twin tight end set again. 4 down linemen again. Check that, 3. Army rotating between a 3-man front and a 4-man front, giving different looks. Navy, so far, getting somewhat consistent results against either setup. That one goes for 4. Going to be 2nd and 6 from the 43. We're on a clear, bright, sunny day in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
2nd down and 6. Ball on the 43.
Once again in the wide trips, Avey heated up. Sacked on the play. It's a loss of 8. They got in fairly quickly, and the first couple of options for Navy were well covered. Good defense on the play by the Black Knights forced Avey to hang on to the ball and take the sack. Now going to be 3rd and long.
They'll line up with 5 wide receivers.
Naturally, Navy comes out in a spread set, 5 wide receivers. Army appears to be in, looks like a dime 326 or dollar 326. And they hit Jackson, the senior wide receiver, with a big 21-yard gain. Breaks the school record for receiving yards in a season. For Navy, that's a small record. 818 will do it. But Jackson, efficient all year, reaches the milestone and picks up a key first down for the midshipmen. Back in scoring range. Balance so far, 8 rushes, 8 passes. And it's another sack. This time Avey loses 11. But it comes on first down, and they'll have 2 downs to make that up.
And hit him hard. I think that can really create some confidence for this defense. The next time this quarterback drops back to throw, you got to be thinking he's going to be a little bit gun-shy and concerned about the pressure that these defense is putting on him.
Coming out on the eye tight once again. Play action pass. Avey looking, finds Lee for a big gain. It's 16 yards to the tight end. He's got 51 yards here, and there's still 5 minutes left in the second quarter. Amir Lee, the focal point of the Navy offense so far. Some key catches. That one is going to set up 3rd and approachable. The ball rests at Army's 25-yard line.
And here's another 3rd down.
Back to pass goes Avey. Looking, finds a man, but he can't hang on. He had 1 defender on him and another closing. That's going to result in 4th and 5 from the 25. Scott Rawls, an excellent kicker. He was a Tier 1 pickup by the midshipmen. He's a highly touted redshirt freshman kicker, already past the 80 threshold in his first season.
It's 4th down. So the kicker comes out. He'll try to put 3 points on the board. Navy is looking to tie things up. The kick is up.
Kick is up and good, and we are tied. Kalen Holt. Yeah, you heard that right. His first name is Kalen. Kalen Holt picks up 9 up the gut on Army's first play of the drive. We're about halfway through the second quarter of this tie game.
Short yardage situation here.
Every coach's favorite down and distance, 2nd and 1.
He gets out to about the 35-yard
And Navy, Swain, coming up with another big tackle. He had a tackle for a loss earlier and now keeps Army short. It is now 3rd and inches. But Navy, if they can get a tackle for loss or no gain, has an opportunity here.
down, and they're about to
Even if it's short, 3rd down is a chance. Wingbone set for the Black Knights. Man in motion. Up the gut they go, and they do get the first down. Kalen Holt, the fullback, picks up a yard. And we are exactly halfway through the second quarter. Ball resting at the Black Knights' 36-yard line.
first down, 10 yards to go.
Navy defense comes out in a 4-4. Wingbone once again for the Cadets. They tried to run a counter play, but the quarterback got hung up in the backfield, and that destroyed the timing. He holds on to it. It's going to be a loss of 1. The counter worked earlier to the left side. They try to go to the right, but traffic gets in the way.
It's 2nd and 11. Ball on their own 35.
4-4 once again for the Middies. This time it's a flex bone for the Cadets. They give it to the fullback. Kalen Holt picks up no gain. It's now going to be 3rd and long. Sack on the play. Kelvin Hopkins goes down quickly for a loss of 6. The Navy defense all over it as the defensive end crashes down and is able to get to him.
Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one gone. Another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Hey, we're gonna get to 2. Another one bites the dust. Shoot up.
Walker back to receive, makes the catch, runs to the right, picks up 10. A solid, if unspectacular, return. That will give Navy great field position out at their own 40 with 2:36 left in the half and all 3 timeouts.
Point in the game where you don't want to make any mistakes that give the other guys a reason to feel more confident going into halftime. Nice run, and he's
Barry picks up good yardage. It's a 7-yard gain to get this drive underway.
second down, and they're going to need about 3 yards to pick up the first down. And now he's got room to
Hayes on the quarterback keeper. Reggie Hayes coming in to run the option.
Okay, just a little tired, I guess.
And he picks up a first down.
first and 10. Ball on the 47-yard line.
Perry picks up 3. Going to be 2nd and 7. Navy now goes to the no huddle. Caught by Lee, a 14-yard catch. He's up to 65 yards on the day. And that is going to take Navy down to the 29-yard line of the Cadets, and they are in scoring range.
1st and 10. Ball on the 29. And he carries the ball for a nice gain.
Perry picks up 4. Now 2nd and 6. It's his 9th carry of the ball game. No huddle they go. Read option up the gut to Perry. Makes a couple of cuts and picks up a big 14-yard gain. Now it's 1st and 10. All in the 11. With 1:07 and counting, but Navy with 3 timeouts. Avey on the keeper off the read option, picks up 7. Down to the 4-yard line. Navy uses their first timeout.
And this is the 8th play of the drive.
Back to the eye tight they go. Up the gut they go. Perry across the line into the paint, and Navy takes a 6-point lead, awaiting the extra point.
In a game that's this close,
53 seconds left in the first half. It's a first half that has seen teams score on every drive, save for Army's previous one.
finds his man and they
Cam Harrison picks up 7 on the first play of the drive. It's 2nd and 3 as Army uses their first timeout. There's 49 seconds remaining.
They need about 3 yards to get the first here on 2nd down.
Two backs in the backfield, and Cooper makes the catch near the sideline. He's kept in bounds by Navy.
On the play and pick up the first down.
That's going to cost Army their second timeout. They get the first down, but they've already spent 2 timeouts on 2 plays.
When they get you a first down and keep the offense on the field.
And the quarterback didn't waste any time getting rid of that one. He took the snap and he threw it right
That's
out
Hopkins' only his 3rd pass of the game.
there. First down.
Back to pass he goes, and he's sacked again. It's a 6-yard loss. They're going to go no huddle.
He's going to try and scramble. Slides down. 1, maybe 2 yards on the quarterback scramble.
Great play.
No significant danger there as Hopkins was flushed from the pocket. Now with 22 seconds left and 3rd and long. We'll see what the Cadets do on this play.
3rd down and 13. Ball on the 35.
And it's another sack. Cromartie with his 3rd of the game.
You stand back there and take
That's going to end the first half for all intents and purposes.
After the sack, it's now 4th and long. Great game in the works, folks, as we come to the end of the first half. 17-10, Navy.
Glad to have you with us in the studio for the EA Sports NCAA Football 14 halftime show presented by Nissan. Innovation that excites. Reese Davis and David Pollock here, completely locked in on that first half. Maybe the most important statistic from the first half, no turnovers for either team. So far, a good job of ball security, but now you wonder if the quarterbacks can avoid putting the ball in jeopardy. They're going to want to make a big play, and that might sort of set off a feeding frenzy on the defensive side.
Yeah, and it's in defenses, that's the #1 priority. I mean, you can give up a lot of yards. They can chew up yards up and down the field, but if you can force turnovers, then you're keeping them off the scoreboard, and that's your #1 goal. So defenses, they have to be a little bit upset right now, and they got to try to find ways to hit harder. How about when you're tackling? Use the strip stick. You know, be able to strip the ball out, get the ball out, try to get some interceptions, try to make some user picks. You know, do whatever you can to try to get the football back from that offense and set your offense up in good field position.
That'll do it here in the studio at halftime. We'll try to see if Pollock can bring a little energy in the second half. Got a lot of games to watch, including yours. Brad and Kirk ready for the second half.
We'll take a quick look at the halftime stats while Coach grabs some refreshments. It's 17-10 Navy at the break. Army with only 3 first downs because of 2 big runs. Those runs have given them 131 yards rushing. They are averaging nearly 300 yards a game on the ground. Navy, for their part, has run the ball 16 times, more than they've passed. They've kept the defense honest, but when they've passed, it's been highly effective. 10 out of 11. AB off to a hot start. He got heated up early, and he has found his connection to Amir Lee. You see Army with just the 3 for 3 passing for 9 yards. And the third downs working out in Navy's favor. We'll take a look here at the player stats. You see AB 10 out of 11, off to a fantastic start, a 211 rating. Perry with 57 yards on the ground. He's got a 5.1 yard average with a touchdown. That 5.1 average for Perry, very productive with the touchdown. Lee, the leading receiver, 5 catches from the tight end for 65 yards and a touchdown on an excellent read on the out route, the secondary look. Defensively, Cromartie has been the player. 3 sacks for him from the left end position, although he's a left end by position only. I believe he plays right end in the Navy scheme. Swain also with 2 important tackles, 1 for a loss. Conversely, on defense, Army spreading it out. Covington and Jones with a couple of sacks of AB. Really the only negative parts of the Navy passing game. As we said, AB's 10 of 11. Not too many catches, as we said. Rushing-wise, Wisham Jr. and Cooper Jr. Cooper with just the 1 carry for 75 yards and a touch. Wisham with 2 carries, one of those a 53-yarder. 2 big runs by Army, the extent of their offense. Navy matriculating the ball down the field with some short plays and some astute passing. We're going to jump back here into the second half. Navy's going to get the football.
And we welcome you back to the
The midshipmen open their drive with a drag route across the middle. Taylor Jackson picking up his 3rd catch of the day. That's going to get the Navy offense off to a start of 2nd and 7 from their own 28.
From their own 28-yard line. 2nd down. Navy up 7 points.
11 personnel, shotgun single back set for the midshipmen. Army with 2 down linemen. Quarterback keeper to AB. He finds the first down marker, gets across it, gets tackled forwards for an extra 1.5 yards. It's going to be a first down for the midshipmen out to their own 37 here on this opening drive of the second half.
From their own 37-yard line, it's first down.
Staying with the eye tight, Navy's favored formation for this game so far. And the midshipmen content to work the clock, play ball control, operating under the assumption that if Army doesn't have the ball, they can't score. As Perry upends an Army defender in the process of getting up. Gives a little bit of extra gravy after that run. Midshipmen now out to the 40. We're about 1.5 minutes into the second quarter. Into the second half.
From their own 40-yard line.
3-man front for the Cadets. Army once again in the eye tight. Back to pass goes Aby, looking, finds Lee on the drag route from left to right across your radio dial. He runs forward after the catch, picks up enough to get the first down. And just like that, Navy is just into Army territory.
From the 49-yard line. First down.
Shotgun wide trips now. Navy with an audible at the line of scrimmage. 4 down linemen for the Cadets. The give up the gut to Perry. He's got a little bit of room. Finds 4 yards in the mix. He's out to 65 yards so far today and a 5-yard average.
Second and 5. Ball on the 43.
Navy comes out in the shotgun, normal halfback weak. Changes the play at the line of scrimmage. Up the gut to Perry, and he gets another 6-yard gain. It's going to be another first down. Perry up to 71 yards rushing. Navy with the ball at Army's 38-yard line here, ahead by 7.
First down, 10 to go. Ball on the 38.
Twin tight ends once again, this time a 3-4 defense for Army. They've been switching back and forth between a 3-man front and a 4-man front all game. The handoff to Perry, this time runs into a blocker and traffic. The blocker was held up by the traffic, and that bottleneck limits Perry to a 1-yard gain.
From the 36-yard line, it's second down.
2nd and 9 now from the 37. Jackson goes in motion. The pass to Jackson is good for 5. Now going to be 3rd and approachable as Navy picks up half the distance.
They're about 4 yards away here on 3rd down.
Navy 2 out of 3 on 3rd down for the day. Back to pass goes Aby, finds Lee, and it's 9 yards to Amir Lee. He's got 86 in the ball game. He's been the focal point so far, him and Perry, for the midshipmen.
Navy is up by a touchdown.
Staying with the eye tight, twin tight end set. Army goes back to a 3-4 defense. And up the gut goes Perry. He's tackled. He falls forward. He picks up 5. Now going to be 2nd and 5 from Army's 18-yard line. And this is the opening drive of the second half. And so far, with the lead and the football, the midshipmen have been able to take much of the third quarter off the clock. We're now just 2:22 remaining in the third quarter. Navy still driving. Up the gut to Perry. He's got room to run, makes a couple of moves, picks up extra yards, and they're going to call it an 11-yard gain. He's got 17 for 88, a 5.2 average. And now Navy with 1st and goal. As we creep inside the 2-minute mark.
This is the 12th play of this drive.
You see the first downs, 15-3. Army with a couple of big plays. Navy, a more studied approach. There's the handoff to Perry, up the gut, and he's into the paint for the touchdown. Navy now with a 2-score lead.
Play by the halfback. Find his way into the end zone.
The offense goes with the option. The defender can only this
Kick goes through the back of the end zone once again, and Army will take over at their own 25, trailing by 2 touchdowns with only a minute and a half about remaining in the 3rd quarter. Army needs to do something, and they need to do it quickly if they're going to stay in this ballgame.
There's got to be some sense of urgency to this offense right now. They don't have the luxury of wasting drives if they want to get back in the game.
It's a fumble, and Navy recovers, and much traffic in the middle caused that turnover. There were too many bodies. It was a risky pitch by the quarterback, and Hopkins went with it and pays the price. Play action pass. Aby looking back to pass, finds Lee. He gets into the end zone. It's a massive play, and it's a 3-score lead. 1 play after the turnover. As we said, Navy came into this game with a goal to get Lee 100 yards from the tight end position, and he's got the 100 yards. They have a superstar tight end visiting this week for his recruiting visit. And the bonus points are already there with plenty of time to spare.
It's getting to the point now where it's just men against boys.
These two teams have played 2 close games in the last 2 years. Unless Army starts doing some miraculous things, they're in danger of not having any chance in the 4th quarter.
They just can't. There's nothing they can do to stop them.
Their 2 big plays in the first half seem so long ago.
2nd down, 8 yards to go. Ball on their own 27. Tackle after a decent run.
Kalen Holt picks up 5. Now going to be 3rd and 3. It's a stop by the Navy defense.
That can sometimes be a tough thing to do to pull down
And
a big
boy,
strong fullback for a
that
long
is not
play.
what Army needed. It is a 3 and out for the midshipmen.
The return man.
Taking care of business every day. Taking care of business every way. I've been taking care of business. It's alright. Taking care of business and working overtime.
Here in the third quarter.
Excellent 18-yard return. Trey Walker able to shift his way like water through the traffic for an extra 8 to 10 yards. That's going to set up Navy with the ball just near the midfield stripe.
Hoping to turn this drive into another touchdown.
As long as this quarterback has time to throw, and you can guarantee that he'll find the open man.
And on the final play of the third quarter, Perry picks up 6 as he gets across the 100-yard marker. He's out to 101 yards today. So 100 yards for Perry and 100 yards for Lee. Into the fourth quarter now. 1st and 10 following the completion to Perry. He goes up the gut and he gets 3. 20 carries for 104 yards, a 5.2 average for Malcolm Perry.
It's 2nd and 7. Ball on the 37-yard line.
2nd and 7, the down and distance. Navy just outside scoring range, ahead by 3 scores. Avey back to pass, finds Perry on the angle route, and he picks up the first down and more
24-yard line.
on a 12-yard catch. He's got 3 catches for 24 yards to go with his 103 or 104 rushing.
It's 1st and 10. Ball on the 24-yard line.
Now Navy knows the score, knows the situation, content to let seconds melt off the clock. Up the gut goes Perry, picks up another 4. Relentless has been the Navy rushing attack.
2nd and 6.
Now 2nd and 6 from the 21. Navy trying to put the icing on the cake here.
From the 21-yard line. 2nd down.
Read option play. Goes to Perry up the gut. It's a loss of 1. Now going to be 3rd and 8. As Ryan Parker comes in to make his 3rd tackle of the ball game. As we stated before, a lot at stake here. Army at 8-3, Navy at 6-5.
It's 3rd down, 8 to go.
And Navy needs this
Ball on the 22-yard line.
to solidify their bowl prospects. They are on the bubble right now. And a win against the 38th ranked team in the country would go some distance towards them securing that coveted postseason berth. Kelvin Wright on the catch. It's 6 yards. That's his 3rd for 29. Now going to be 4th and 2. And Navy content to bring the special teams out on the field. They have milked a few minutes off the clock
So the field goal unit
and
is
gotten
on the
points.
field. They'll try for 3 points.
This is going to make it, it's going to keep it a 3-score game, but it's going to make it much more difficult as Army will need 3 touchdowns and 3 2-point conversions and to shut out Navy the rest of the way. And they need to do it in about 4 minutes. It's hooked to the left. It stays a 3-score game either way. Now Army doesn't need to get the 2-point conversions, but they are still in a massive hole with 4:09 remaining.
Can only do so much to get your body to heat up.
The last time this offense had the ball, it was 3 and out.
Army being now forced to do what they don't like to do, which is to throw.
Got a man, watch out here. He's pushed out of
Fred
bounds.
Cooper gets them off to a 5-yard start. He got out of bounds. That'll momentarily stop the clock, and now it's moving.
25-yard line. 2nd down.
Back to pass again goes Hopkins. Looking, doesn't like what he sees, then throws it out to the left. Cooper Jr. with the catch and gets out of bounds again.
7-yard line.
And with 3:47 remaining, Army out to their 37.
From their own 37-yard line.
That was Hopkins' only 5th pass attempt of the game. He's completed all 5, but he's only had 5. And this time, immediate pressure
For the sack.
by the Navy defense results in a sack.
Met with them yesterday out at practice. They told us there were big concerns about facing
Another one bites the dust.
they might be able to hold up for instance, maybe get the ball.
Another one bites the dust. And another one gone. And another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Hey, we're gonna get to two. Another one bites the dust. Shoot up.
Cromartie with his 4th sack of the ball game. He's been a menace on defense for the Middies.
He gets rid of this one.
Cromartie taking advantage, abusing that 70 left tackle for Army. That 70 left tackle has been unable to cope with him, and he's been a menace. Now McCoy comes in for the 3-man front. 3rd and long.
He's got it with
Dump off pass to Holt. That's not going to be enough for the first down. You imagine that Army's not going to have any choice but to go for it, and they do. They look like they're going to keep their regular offense on the field for this 4th and 7 play.
Keep everything in front of them. Come up and make a tackle.
It's a play action pass. Hopkins felt the heat, got a little bit of happy feet, and then flings the ball. The receiver had to come back for it. He threw it off balance. Hopkins was moving backwards when he threw that, and the receiver had to come back further towards the ball, had no chance of getting the first down as there were many bodies there for the midshipman. And now on the turnover on downs, with less than 3 minutes to play, Navy in complete control.
Shot at putting points on the board and you don't get it, you get a little frustrated. But this offense is very capable of scoring at any time.
Quarterback keeper by Aby. Picks up a yard. But does get the clock moving.
From the 39-yard line, second down.
Navy, of course, will be content to let those seconds come off the clock. And out of the twin tight end set, it's a play action pass, and it's a touchdown for Lee. That is multiple touchdowns today. It's his third touchdown pass for Aby. And Lee adds to his great stat line. And with that, Navy now ahead by 28 with just 2 minutes remaining in the ballgame. Army left to desperation measures. We don't know if they have that arrow in their quiver.
This defense has just been stifling. They've shut down the running game. They've, for the most part, limited the big plays in the pass game. They've got a nice lead here in the fourth quarter.
I don't expect any once-in-a-lifetime rallies here.
Out of the huddle they come. Army left with very little chance. Out to the right side to Cooper Jr. He pushes his way across the first down marker. But he does stay in bounds. That's going to keep the clock moving because it was beyond 2 minutes when they snapped the ball.
First down, 10 to go. Ball on the 37-yard line. Just under 2 minutes in the game.
Hopkins finds Novak. He gets the first down and gets out of bounds. It's going to stop the clock with 104 seconds remaining. Four score and 7 yards ago, Army attempted to make the most incredible of comebacks. And runs the ball with less than 2 minutes on the clock. Clock still moving. Army with only 188 yards on the day. 128 of those coming on 2 plays. The rest of their plays have accounted for 60 yards. They call their timeout, their first timeout, with 1 minute exactly on the clock. And Army trailing by a mountain.
from the 47-yard line. It's third down.
3rd and 5. Army just across the stripe into Navy territory. Back to pass again, into the flat again, and multiple defenders there. Navy swarming on defense. Limits them to a 3-yard gain, protects the first down, and Army, it looks like, is surrendering. You don't see that every day, the United States Army waving the white flag. But this time, the fleet, not San Diego, but the fleet will triumph. They'll get the ball back, and in this situation, with no motivation to, and with respect for their rival, Navy will not try to run the score up. They are happy to take the win. They're coming out in the victory formation. No timeout from Army. Both teams recognizing the situation. Navy will move to 7 and 5. They will defeat 8 and 3 Army, and they will more than likely move across the bubble and have done the best. They've made the best case they can to make a bowl game. They're going to finish 7 and 5. They're going to finish 60th or above in the rankings. We know that there are 64 possible bowl bids, so it does mean something to finish above 60, and Navy will do that. They upset the higher-ranked Army team, 38-10, the final score, and just like that, Navy comes away with a big win in a rivalry game. It didn't look anything like the previous 2 years. Highly effective offense with Lee and Perry leading the way. Lee, the player of the game, 9 catches, 146 yards, and three touchdowns. If there was any doubt that the abilities of the tight end, they were removed today. Almost 70% of Army's yardage came on 2 plays in the first quarter. But since the first quarter, Navy shut them down on defense, came up with several team gang tackles, held them short of first downs, kept getting the ball back, had good field position for much of the day, and capitalized on it. Navy emerges victorious, 38-10. That's going to conclude the regular season for League One. We now move into the postseason. We'll have conference championships next week. This coming week. On Friday night, we'll have number 1 Syracuse, coached by myself, Coach Spector, in the ACC championship game, along with other action in League One that won't be televised on this channel. But Navy is capital today. Both quarterbacks having excellent games in terms of completion percentage. AB finishes 19 for 20, and Hopkins 10 out of 11. Now, Hopkins only got 58 yards passing, while AB racks up 231 and 3 touchdowns for a game rating of 241. Perry, 107 yards, highly effective on the ground with 2 touchdowns, the second star of the game. The 1 carry by Cooper Jr. for 75 yards. The 153-yard carry by Wisham Jr., representing the majority of the Army offense. 7 catches by Cooper Jr. for 32 yards. None of them spectacular, while Lee racks up that 146-yard game that made him player of the game. 3 trips to the end zone. Jackson, Wright, and Perry complimenting him. Defensively, Cromartie picks up 4 sacks, dominating the 70 overall left tackle for Army. He was a menace. Swain with 6 tackles, 4 in the second half, many of them important. And the tackles well spread out for Army. They got a couple of sacks in the first half, none in the second. And Navy pulls away to win by 4 scores. We thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope to catch you on Friday with the conference championships. We hope you have a good rest of the week. Kick its ass.